I almost lost a job because I did too much work.
Discrimination is not only race. He's smarter than me. He don't get the job. No.
If I need to babysit you, don't even come look for a job. There should only be one reason for leaving any job. The most important thing for you to communicate on a resume is the idea. Welcome back to Dream Life Podcast, everybody. This is Steve Buck, your host, and with me to my left is
Gabby.
Gabby's my co-host, and we also have our contributor with us here today,
Corey Robinson.
Yep, Corey Robinson and Gabby are with me here today to make things better for the young African-American male community. This is episode 8. Before we get going, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. As everybody who's listened to our show before knows, we are actively reaching out for partners to help us in our mission. Our mission, again, is to help young African-American men live the American dream for their life. And the resources that we're going to need to be able to do that, there's a multitude of them. But generally speaking, we're going to need hardware, software, laptops. We're going to need people to donate places where we can host our education knowledge centers. And we also need very smart people.
That's right.
To help teach these young men a lot of the life skills that they didn't get in life or in high school or even in grade school. So please, at the bottom of our screen, if you contact us, you want to be a partner, please join in. We would love to have as much help as we could possibly get. So another thing I wanted to do before we get going, we had off the wall just for the cameras, but the Nike sign, just do it. That's a part of my message today. Just decide every day that you get up, you're just going to do it. You're going to make it happen. In this episode, what we want to do, Gabby and Corey, is we want to go through some of the basic beginner steps of the paperwork and, what are the expectations and what is the paperwork look like to get a job. So the first document that I'm going to start off with is a resume, using my resume as a sample, just so that everybody can get an idea of what a resume looks like. My camera people will be putting up a sample of my resume on the screen. Basically, if you look at my resume, it gives my home phone number, my cell phone. I think I took this from back in 2016, which was the last time that I did a resume. My typical working title was a senior project manager at this point in time. I gave a profile of what type of work that I'm an efficient at, what my expertise is within the construction industry, a work history of different employers that people who I've worked for on their payroll. And then it gives an outline of the projects that represent the general construction portion or the concrete portion of work that I did. In total, it's like I said before, I've built more than $500 million worth of projects. But the specific component that I personally managed shows up on my resume. So that's a resume. And the one comment that I would like to make is the fact that if you haven't entered the workforce, your resume may be one line. And that one line under profile may be,
I did house chores.
or that you're a self-motivated individual. Mm-hmm. Who is looking for an opportunity to begin their career in whether it's construction or restaurant business or whatever. And that's it. It can literally, your resume can have your name, your address, your phone number on it, your email address in one line under profile.
I'm fresh.
I'm a self-motivated individual looking for an opportunity to begin my career in blank. Okay, so that's a resume, okay? And like I said, I would encourage everybody to build a resume, even if it's a one-line resume, just to say that, do you have a resume? Yes, I have a resume. It doesn't have to be extensive like mine is, but at least if you have a resume, you could start it and you can update it as you go through life, which is what you're supposed to do.
Or as I was taught when I had no experience and didn't know what I was doing with a resume or application, I was just taught put down what you're really good at, what you know how to do, and your experience in doing it.
Right, that's a great point. That's a great point, is that if there's things that you like to do or hobbies or different things, that's great information to add on that resume. But the one thing I think that's the most important thing for you to communicate on a resume is the idea that you are a self-motivated individual who wants to be successful. If you can communicate that on your resume, that's the most important thing that you
Should get you a start. Huh?
Well, the employer wants to know that you're self-motivated, that you want to be the best, and that, the employer or the boss in the employer's business that's hiring you, they want to make sure that they're not hiring another baby for the nursery that they have to babysit. Okay?
Right.
That's the bottom line. I've seen it in several applications, okay? And when we advertise for help, like in our construction business or our property management business, I put right in the ad, self-motivated individuals need apply only. Lazy people that need to be babysat need not apply. Okay? I want it to be crystal clear. Don't even come look for a job. If I need to babysit you, I've got plenty of those. I need people who are self-motivated. They want to take initiative upon themselves, okay, to do a great job, right?
They don't have to be micromanaged all the time.
Right, exactly, and that's what it's about. Successful people do not need to be micromanaged,
Right?
because of the fact that they've taken it upon themselves to be what type of people?
Employable.
No, we just covered it in one.
Successful. The number one
No,
person.
no. Oh, see, you guys didn't even learn the lesson.
Okay.
There's 3 different types of people in the world. What are the 3 different types of people?
Smart, successful. Successful, unsuccessful, and no. I remember the one.
You want the cheat sheet? I can give you the cheat sheet.
The one that want to do the work, the one that just want to look at the work, and the one that don't know nothing about the work.
Here, I'll give you the cheat sheet.
That's not verbatim, but it's in there.
Here's the cheat sheet. There's 3 types of people in the world.
That's right. Number 1, those who make things happen, which is the ones at this table.
That's right.
Number 2, those who watch things happen, like the people that sit on the couch and watch TV all day. Number 3, those that don't know nothing. They don't even know how to use the remote control for the TV. They don't even know.
That's the type of people that they don't know.
They ain't even know about it.
They don't know what happened. Huh? What?
Right? Exactly. That's the line. What? Huh?
Right.
What?
A nuclear bomb went off in Israel. Really?
For real.
Yeah.
A week ago, that bomb went off. Okay.
So they want number 1 for the job site.
So the person who's hiring you, they want to know one thing. You are the type 1 person. You are the type of person that makes things happen. Okay? And that's why they don't have to babysit you, because you're going to figure out a better way even to do it than the way that they're doing it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you can learn the way that they do it, but if you're the type of person that makes things happen, you will only make their life better and easier. And that's why they're hiring you. They're hiring you to make their lives better and easier.
And if you do that, don't forget to get a raise.
That's the raises will come automatically. I
just got one of those. No matter of fact, they give me, I'm just like, all right, I'm cool with that.
I can guarantee that's how they come. So you show up at Buck Construction and you want a job as a carpenter. Here's the application form that we have. And again, we're going to put this up on the screen. Okay. This is just a generic application form for employment. Line 1, you need to fill out the date of the application. What day are you applying for a job? I've literally had people who did not know how to write a date. 2 digits, front slash, 2 digits, front slash, 2 digits. The month, the day, and the year is how you do the date of application, and you'll see it on the form that we post up on the screen. Your name, put in your entire name. Do your last name, your first name, and your middle name or middle initial. Address, make sure you fill out the address. We have a line here for alternate address. That's not important whatsoever. So if you don't have an alternate address, then you don't fill it out. Contact information. There's 3 different things that we ask for contact information. You may have one or you may have all 3, but we ask for your home telephone number, your mobile telephone number, and an email address. We ask you a question on the application. How did you learn about our company? That could be one of a multitude of different things, but they ask that question just because it can spur other conversation, within the interview process. Position sought. You should have a general idea going in on what the company does that you're going to apply to, and have a general idea of what the positions are that, our job categories at that company. Available start date. Do not fill out an application and do not go to an interview unless you know the exact date and time that you can start work.
I always put ASAP.
And that's
right now.
and if that works out, that's fine. But a lot of things are time sensitive for people who are hiring. So you need to know before you even go to the application to fill out the application or go to the interview.
Right.
Okay. You can fill out the application, but when you do the interview, you got to know the exact time, date that you can start. Desired pay range. On here, we have a suggestion that says hourly or salary. 90% of the people start off hourly, unless you're going to work for like Grubhub or something like that, where you're just going to get paid a stipend on a per mile or per delivery,
right.
Charge. Are you currently employed? Straight up basic question. In the next section, it talks about what you have for education. One thing I always tell people, make sure that you're 100% honest on your application for employment, because that's the only thing that matters is what's real. So if you didn't graduate high school, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to have a GED or have graduated high school. If you don't have it, you don't have it. If you do, great, put it on there. But if you don't, just let them know, how far in school that you went. And then it asks about any trade school training. I'm saying, I don't know, maybe you went to Mahana's tractor trailer driving school or you took some OSHA safety courses or whatever. Any type of training outside of work that you've done or inside of work, seminars that you've been to, put that on the application. Next is, please list your areas of highest proficiency, special skills, or other items that may contribute to your abilities in performing the above mentioned position. If you were really good in math in school, if you were really good in English, or if you were really good in history, right? Or if you'd done your own gaming podcast for 5 years. Let them know, what you've done, because
that's where some of your passion come in at, and those hobbies.
Right. So, if somebody had walked in my office and said, oh yeah, I've been podcasting for 5 years, they wouldn't have known that I was going to start a podcast, but I can use those skills because of the fact I'm starting a podcast, right? So don't ever minimize any experience or things that you know how to do. Don't minimize it. Put it on there so that they know what you can do. Maybe you're a backyard mechanic. Maybe you know how to put new brake shoes, or you can take transmissions apart, or, you know how to replace glass, or, you can paint, because, some people take and they might have somebody who's, washing dishes, and they might be painting the building in the summertime if they know that, you know how to paint. On the back of the sheet is previous experience. Okay. And this will help you keep things organized on your resume. It says dates employed, the company name, the location, and what role, title, or position did you perform while you were there. So always keep that on your resume, because if you keep it organized, it makes doing your resume much easier in the future. So always, even if you don't need a resume, always be updating your resume as you gain more experience in life. And reason for leaving, okay, this is probably one of the most important things that I will ever teach you. There should only be one reason for leaving any job.
I got a better one.
That's right. I did such a fantastic job that I got a better job, and they paid me another $5 an hour because I was so great, and this other company stole me from these people. because I was so great. Now, there are other instances, okay, that are outside of your control that Corey and I are familiar with, okay, that could be a reason where you're discriminated against, okay? Okay.
That happens.
But don't be afraid to put that down there.
Discrimination is not only race.
You know what I'm saying?
He's smarter than me. He don't get the job. No.
But if you do lose your job for any other reason outside of leaving your job on your own will to go take another job, you want to know why. If you got fired or you lost your job for whatever reason, maybe things got slow and they didn't need you anymore. But that's some of the best information that you can get because we've all screwed up. Okay, we've all made mistakes. Okay, and sometimes our mistakes can lead to us getting fired or losing our job. So at least if that happens, so that we don't make that mistake again, we want to know, what did we screw up? I almost lost a job one time through the union because I did too much work.
Because you work too much?
I worked too much.
Many hours.
True story. No. It wasn't about hours. It wasn't about hours. I was on a $200 million gas pipeline project, and I was a young operating engineer, and I was working for Latex Construction out of Georgia. And down south, these guys who are on the gas pipeline, they try to get the projects done as fast as they can. Well, up north, where the unions used to be entrenched, they always had the saying is that they don't want you to kill the job, which means they don't want you to get the job done too fast.
Right.
Okay. So when I worked for Latex Construction, right, there were 5 excavators on the mainline digging crew. When I got there, I actually had to train another guy to run the machine that we were on. I was supposed to be the oiler and he was supposed to be the operator, but I ended up being the operator and I showed him how to dig with the machine. Yeah, he knew how to run other machines, but he just didn't happen to know how to run, an excavator. So I trained him how to do it. And when we first got there, each machine was digging 100 feet of trench, 14 feet deep, 20 feet at the top, 4 feet at the bottom. And in an 8-hour day, each machine would dig 100 feet a day. Well, my foreman, Terry, came along. He said, Steve, you're doing a good job digging a Yankee trench. But I want to teach you how to dig a rebel trench, okay? And I'm like, a Yankee trench? I said I've been around construction a little bit, but I've never. So he showed me how to dig a rebel trench, and what a rebel trench is that every time that you take the excavator, okay, and you put it in the ground, the teeth, what you do is you pull it down in an angle. Okay. And what it does is it stabilizes the slopes of the trench. And also it helps you measure the width of your ditch and it keeps the slope stable. But the other thing I didn't know about, he didn't tell me, is that it also makes you more productive on how much trench that you can dig because you don't have to go back and clean up the sides. Right. And do all that stuff. So I'm digging like this. Well, about 2 weeks goes by. In my machine, I'm digging 500 feet a day. Instead of 100 feet, because I'm digging a rebel trench instead of a Yankee trench. The union steward on the job, okay, and you probably don't know what a union steward is, but a union steward is a person on the job who makes sure that the contractor is following all of the rules of the union. He came up to me one day and he said, "You got to slow down, son." And I was a rebel at that point in time because I was digging a rebel ditch. And I said, why would I want to slow down? I said, they're paying us great money to run this machinery. We're getting 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. He says, well, you're going to kill the job. I was young at the time. I was probably only about maybe 20, 21 years old. And so I couldn't really wrap my mind around this idea that, you could work too fast. So time went on and I slowed down a little bit, but just instinctively, when you're digging, you don't sit there and think about it. I was just digging. And every day I went into work, I dug 500 feet and everybody else was digging, 200 feet now at this point in time because I made them look so bad that they all started working a little bit harder. Well, don't they bring me up on union charges? They brought me up on union charges. Okay. And they were going to charge me for basically working too fast. And so I had to go in front of the Union Brotherhood at the next meeting of Local 545. I said, gentlemen, do you understand that my father's a general contractor and I'm going to be the next person in charge of hiring all you people from the union? I said, you get paid twice as much money as non-union workers, and you're not even willing to do as much work as the non-union shop. I said, what reason do you give a union contractor to hire union help if there's no benefit whatsoever? There has to be a benefit.
Right.
Well, either skill level, you know what I'm saying, like masons, union masons were always the best, and union carpenters were okay. But you've got to get something for it in exchange. So I just told him, I said, if you want to throw me out of the union, go ahead and throw me out of the union, but I'm not slowing down one bit. And that was it. They never brought it up again. Guess what happened within 2 days later? 5 machines were digging 500 feet a day, and they were all digging rebel trenches.
Wow.
Okay?
Stick to your guns.
That's it. Stick to your guns. What's right is right. Again, there's 3 kinds of people in the world. Okay? I have always been that guy who makes things happen. I don't want to be the slowest digger on the crew. I want to be the fastest. I want to be the most skilled. Okay? That's the mindset that we have to carry into every single solitary thing that we do, because it's going to show up. It's going to show up, and it's going to show up in spades. So just a short story that illustrates that. Now, that's basically it for the application for employment, okay? Now, for our construction company, we've got this set of paperwork that we call new employee paperwork, and we'll put this new employee paperwork up on the screen so that everybody can see what it is. And basically what it is, it's a package of information that my office staff needs from you to be able to put you on a payroll that meets all the requirements of New York State that we have to meet, okay? And you'll see it says is that you have to have a current driver's license, U.S. military card, or other photo ID that shows the following information: name, sex. There's only 2 sexes. It's male or female. So don't get confused there. You know, we're not going to accept, other. Date of birth, height, weight, color of eyes. Okay, so that's the first document that you need.
White color of eyes.
Just so that they can confirm with your driver's license, that this looks like who you are. Okay, but that shows on your photo ID. Okay, and on your photo ID, it should say name, sex, date of birth, and give your height, color of your eyes. The second thing that you have to bring is a legible Social Security card. So if you don't have a legible Social Security card, go right down and reapply. You can get another one in about a week.
It's funny you say legible. A lot of people got ones that look like they've been in the washing machine and put on the dry cycle at the same time.
Right. I still have my original birth certificate. I still have my original Social Security card. So you have to have those 2 documents, or one of the forms of ID on list C of the 19 list of acceptable documents. And so you'll see the other list of acceptable documents. Okay. This sheet here is just all general information about you. Basically, it's about so that we can send you tax forms, and if there's an emergency, we have an emergency contact. So we know who to contact if for some reason you get hurt or killed on the job site. It has a W-4 tax form where you have to fill out the W-4 tax form and look these documents over.
What's the difference between a W-4 and a W-9?
Well, a W-4 is for withholding out of a paycheck. A W-9 generates a 1099, so you're not an employee, but you're a 1099 independent contractor.
Got you.
So look over the W-4 so that you know what that looks like, and that's 2 pages. Front and back, and study it so you have an idea what these forms look like. So if you need to ask questions when you go to get hired, you can ask the questions right there, and you can fill this paperwork out right there when you're going to get a job. And this is a state tax form for withholding taxes from the state, because in New York State we're so lucky to be able to have them take state tax out. This is the list of acceptable documents form or sheet that I told you about. And again, this is all going to be posted up on the screen. Last but not least, the Department of Homeland Security runs a background check on you. And so you'll see this form up. It's two-sided. That's mainly about your citizenship and about a background check to make sure that you're not international terrorist.
Yeah, no internal espionage going down over here.
Exactly. So that gives you a good, strong rundown on what things that you anticipate looking at when you're in the application process, when you're filling out new employee paperwork, when you go to work for somebody. They're going to be asking you for these things if they intend to put you on their payroll in a legal fashion. Again, this is about giving you knowledge. The more you know, the more prepared that you're going to be, and the better off that you're going to be. But again, at the end of the day, we're here to just do it, get it done. And all of this stuff is also going to be, part of the training for our knowledge centers so that people won't necessarily have to watch our podcast to get it. But this information, along with all of the math, history, English skills, that's the type of stuff that we're going to be looking to get engaged in a big way, because at the end of the day, the podcast is just really going to be the broadcast center, but our whole mission is going to revolve around these knowledge centers where it gives these young African-American men a home base to attach to. So that's it for today's episode, and we will be preparing another good one coming up. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.